Hunger Games is amazing. Wait, what the freaking frick, Ace? Don't you make like Warriors videos and Lion videos?
Shut up.
Hunger Games was a book series that came out in 2008 and had a movie in 2012. In this video, I will be primarily talking about both because The Hunger Games is such a good adaptation that it is basically the same as the books. So The Hunger Games is literally one of the best sci-fi dystopian series in my mind. It's really good.
No, leave him alone! Leave him alone! No! Please leave him alone! No! No! Let him go!
So the world of The Hunger Games is really advanced to the point where you wish they just spent more time just talking about it. It's basically the future, but actually realistic. There are super healing items, new cameras, morphed entities, and invisible jets. It's not overly futuristic where everything is super fancy and shiny and there's all these weird complex buildings. It looks like a future, and there's just more advanced technology. Essentially, America was divided by some type of natural disaster, and now a new monarchy system is set up where all these people are made to work so that the small group of other people is able to live wealthily. It's literally the Dark Ages from history, and basically 10,000 people each work on different resources like tech, food, and energy. Also, I saw maps of districts that showed the 50 states being divided into 10, and I just gotta say that's so stupid. Like, seriously, how could each district with 10,000 people hold 5 states? It's not overly complicated to the point of confusion, and it's actually really simple because everything in it makes sense. When you hear something, you think, oh, that makes sense because it's the future, and in the future they might have that. It doesn't have overly overpowered items either. Everything is practical, and there's always a sense of danger. It's not like Katniss has some force field around her, where the bad guys have the biggest advantage in the world. This is an interesting setup on its own, but a while ago District 3 revolted against the Capitol, and the Capitol blew them to bits, or so they thought. And now they forced everyone to compete in the Hunger Games. The economy is actually really interesting in my opinion, as everything is nearly perfect for the Capitol, but the revolution is actually really easy because the Capitol's control over the districts was also its greatest weakness. Because the districts have the supplies, they can just blow them all up, which is why the quote,
And if we burn, you burn with us!
feels a ton of the revolution. Because the propaganda of the Capitol makes them seem like such a big threat, it makes sense later on that they can easily be overthrown. They aren't actually very strong, but used a simple system of fear to keep the people in check. It's all very interesting and surprisingly realistic, especially when you look at something like the French Revolution.
She knows you're here now. She knows you can't trust her! She's a monster! She's a mud that the Capitol created to destroy us!
Katniss and Gale are two lovebirds who basically want to run away, but Katniss can't because she has a family she cares about. Typical trope, but I'm fine with it. I like how they literally never leave the districts into the woods, like they mention in every book, because in reality they should help these people, and Katniss wants to be there for Prim. Katniss is actually an interesting character in here because she's the only character in the book who has something to lose. Literally all the other characters have families, but they say they don't really care about them. And Katniss is the only one who actually cares about Prim and has something she's fighting for. This again plays into Katniss's character very well. Anyways, Prim gets entered into the Hunger Games and Katniss volunteers because everything she does is for Prim. Prim is her life motivation, and if you're wondering, Katniss never loved Gale. He's into war and not right for her, so she actually loved him. She was just confused in my opinion. The books clearly state this, and so do the movies. Another guy, Peeta, gets entered in, who she knows because he gave her some burned bread when she was starving a few years ago. Peeta is a force of good and is willing to fight like Katniss, but doesn't want war either. Now we will get into satire. While you might expect the Hunger Games to jump into the action right away, it actually spends a long portion of the movie with the lead up to the Hunger Games, including the interviews, the training, and such. All of it is very good build up, but it doesn't get really good until the second movie. It essentially establishes the world with talk show hosts and people loving the Hunger Games like it's any other show. It's really their only form of entertainment. There are also careers who are trained to fight in the Hunger Games, which shows how not everyone hates it and how people actually build careers off of it. The two tributes we're rooting for also fake a relationship to make the audience love them, and so Katniss stands out even more. Of course, she hits the attention, and for a good reason. Nobody here really loves her. They are loving something that's made up. Finally, the Hunger Games start, and holy moly, this movie is directed badly. But hey, I really like the soundtrack. So yeah, whatever you can actually make out of that scene is impressive, because, like, what the freak is happening? I think this one kid with orange hair got hit with a bottle of ketchup, and I think this guy got a back cramp, and then this girl's, like, throwing, daggers, I guess. Even if the first movie is really badly directed, the films afterwards are really good looking. Like, tell me, how does this movie, with an $85 million budget, manage to have such poor effects and look so terrible? The close-ups and the shaky camera are super annoying, and it makes it feel like a B-movie. Like, The Avengers came out this year. Look at that film. So Katniss survives the cornucopia, and she fights off the careers and gets a bow, and then finds Peeta in this moment that is shown stupidly in the movie. Like, hold up, how do you make camouflage look that good, Peeta? That's super unrealistic.
I used to decorate the cakes down at the bakery.
Oh, you frosted cakes? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The rest of the Hunger Games is just a really smart book with tons of fun stuff, including child murder and child murder actually saving your life.
You kill her?
The camera guy makes sure to highlight the relationship, which is growing stronger with Katniss having to kiss Peeta for the cameras. This kind of builds into a Gale dynamic, but that's not really explored that much. Again, this could be a really simple and bad movie about a Hunger Games thing, but it's given so many more layers. It's like you think of all these cool scenarios that fit so perfectly into the larger plot, and also act very unique to the story. It's like you take a tiny concept and you're able to expand on it so much to where you think of all these hidden little details that could make the story so much more engaging. Needless to say, Katniss kills the final bad guy and they celebrate. Oh wait, they had to kill each other now. They need a good show after all. Romeo and Juliet, am I right? The two decide they would rather suicide because they feel so betrayed. This is another moment of the Capitol pushing the people so much they decide to spite them by their only means, death. This act of defiance wins them the day, and either way this would have gone terribly for the Capitol. Because people are put in a game like this, they still have free will and can still fight back in their own ways. The people of the districts realize this now, and realize the Capitol finally gave in to a demand. As we move on to Catching Fire, it explains to us that Katniss is in danger now that she defied the Capitol like that. And now the Capitol is being super cruel to make the people fear it now, executing people almost randomly. It gets to the point where Katniss is forced to give in to the Capitol because she believes she is causing pain where she goes. This part is really hard to watch in my opinion, and it gets to the point where the Capitol goes and burns down stuff and then wrecks Gale. Oof! The Capitol is now super desperate and hates Katniss. It makes sense how desperate they are when you watch the later movies because of how weak they are in reality. The games this year are announced with another interesting idea to bring into the table of already amazing, interesting ideas for the Hunger Games. Essentially, every 25 years there's a quarter quell, which adds some new twist to the game. This year, the tributes will be picked from the previous pool of victors. This is all an obvious attempt to kill Katniss and Peeta, and I love that Katniss isn't even shocked when she is picked to go. Even then, the revolution still stands. The symbol is everywhere, and Katniss' designer gives his life so he can present the revolution. What's interesting is that at this point it feels unfair that Katniss is a part of it. All she wants is to protect Prim, and every single thing the others do is getting closer to getting Prim killed. The others have nothing to lose, and she has everything to lose. The games begin, and they make sure to break her confidence by killing Cena right in front of her. Like, this is probably one of the best Hunger Games scenes. It might be the best Hunger Games scene, and it's definitely the best scene of Catching Fire. The cinematography is just, oh, it's so good, and oh my gosh, the bars, they expand, so it's like full screen, and it's like, whoa, look at this new arena, oh my gosh, it's no place for a girl on fire. Not only is this book super interesting with the politics, but there is a new set of characters to love. Finnick, this guy, and Joanna. It's really interesting to see other victors at play and how everyone else is so confident, but Katniss is like, ah! The arena is obviously designed to kill everyone. I mean, 8 people die every day out of the 24. There are a ton of dangers, and Katniss realizes it's actually a clock. As it turns out, the game makers are in on it with some of the other tributes, and created a lightning tree, and gave that guy a wire. He's basically telling him to destroy the force field using that method. Katniss also shows her love to Peeta now that she truly knows him. She likes Gale as well, but Peeta seems just like her, knows just as much, and understands her better. The plan unfolds, and I honestly have a complaint here. I feel like there could have been more tension. It feels a lot too easy in this part. It would have made more sense to have Katniss fight the last 2 careers in a final battle after losing trust in the others and then being about to kill them only to struggle and break the barrier. Nonetheless, it's a great moment and Snow realizes he just got played.
It's not possible. Heavens be! Plutarch, heavens be!
Sir, we've lost power.
We get a taste of the revolution, and it's revealed District 12 was super freaking bombed, Peeta and Joanna were captured, and the revolution has begun. Overall, this leaves a really good sense for sequel. It's showing us that not everything plays out perfectly, though we actually need Prim to not die until the end because it's super important for the plot. A lot of people point out it's stupid she got out District 12 alive, and I kind of agree. But it's very, very important for later. The characters, the war, the politics, the world, it's all so well done. Katniss is a really relatable main character and is surprisingly the only character in the Revolution that has something to lose besides Finnick. And he shows an interesting contrast that I will get into more later in the last 2 movies. Anyways, part 1 over. See ya.